今天上午，数百名湾区民众聚集在 Foster City 的这个 City Hall 广场前，进行反对 Prop16，也就是今年11月份加州的第16号公投提案的盛大集会活动。这个呢是第9场集会，之前呢已经在全加州进行了第8场，也就是每个星期六几乎有一场这个车队游行活动进行这个宣传，提起这个广大民众的注意，让他们来研究这个16号提案，看看这个16号提案将会为加州带来什么样的影响。这个是反对的一方，他们呢吸引了很多民众的注意，也有非常多的民众自愿的参与。今天的集会是在 Foster City 的 City Hall 进行集合，但是呢将跨越几乎整个中半岛，从 Foster City 出发，经过 San Mateo、Burlingame、Millbury 和 Sacramento，跨越5大城市，所以这是一个规模非常大、非常吸引人的活动，吸引了非常多的民众参加。看到现场的气氛非常热烈，我们现在就来看一些现场的报道。
Good morning. You are our friends. You are the friends of opposing Proposition 16. You are the residents here. You are the voters here. You are the citizens here. So you are the ones to decide your future. Today we're getting together here in a sunny Saturday morning, and we wanted to voice out and show our force to say no to Proposition 16. Why? Because Proposition 16 will repeal Proposition 209, which gives equal opportunity, not based on race, sex, national origin, and will give equal rights to everyone. So today, let's tell each other, tell more people why we are here. And also, we invite our friends from all over across the board, from each other groups, and to tell us why they support us and support all the people to be against Proposition 16. Now, let's welcome Alex Glue, California Senate District 13 candidates. Let's welcome Mr. Glue.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
Good morning.
My name is Dr. Alex Glue, and I'm the Republican candidate for Senate District 13. That runs from Sunnyvale all the way up to South San Francisco Pacifica. 500,000 voters. It's bigger than a congressional district. Let me tell you, the Republican Party stands with you. The Republican platform opposes 16. Now, we're going to work on our alphabet this morning, and I want you to repeat after me. RCRSN.
RCRSN.
And what does that stand for?
No idea.
Race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. In 1964, the United States wrote the Civil Rights Act. 25 years later, California copied it. Being California, they puttered with it a little bit. They changed religion to ethnicity. So California has RSCEN. Race, sex, ethnicity, or national origin. I refer to it as R.C. Rosen, a nice Jewish guy with a Chinese cousin, R.C. Chen. That's one way to remember it. So what does the Civil Rights Act say? In 703, it says, discrimination against any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, condition, or privilege of employment because of such individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin is illegal. It goes on to say that you can't, quote, use different cutoff scores for, or so forth and so on, based on the same. It also says in Section J, preferential treatment cannot be created based on racial imbalance. So the fact that there are more of one race than another doesn't matter. Everything should be colorblind. You know, if you were to audition for the San Francisco Symphony to be a violin player like Peter Quo, they put you behind a screen. They don't know if you're a man or a woman. They don't know how old you are. They don't know what you are. They just want the best violin player. Peter, I don't know if they pick you, but all right. You know, so that is really how society should be. Now, I grew up Jewish, so, you know, in the Jewish religion, parents value scholarship. In fact, you could tear down a synagogue, a house of worship, for one reason: to put up a house of study, a library. We went on a family vacation to Washington, D.C., and, you know, not all of you get to go to the Supreme Court for a family vacation, but you didn't grow up with a Jewish mother. When I was in D.C., we actually heard the Bakke case. And how is that relevant? The Bakke case, basically, and this is a little bit of a complication, says that race can be included in consideration. That was reaffirmed in Texas. What we need is a Supreme Court to clarify their position on this, preferably after Ruth Bader Ginsburg retires and moves to Florida. There's a long history of racial quotas in universities in the U.S. and around the world. There was a blanket ban on black people. They couldn't go to universities. There were quotas on Jews from 1918 until the 1950s. All medical schools had quotas on Jews starting in the 20s. There were quotas on Southern European Catholics. Remember, the Protestants didn't like the Catholics. There's been Asian quotas, presumably since the 1980s, that are only now coming to light. The most effective method, and Yale cooked this up in 1925, was the legacy system. If your parents went there, you got priority. Well, guess what? If you're an immigrant, your parents didn't go there. You know, why did this start in the 1920s in this country? It started because a lot of poor Jews came from Eastern Europe, and they kind of annoyed the elite people. They weren't, you know, they weren't fancy, they didn't speak well, they weren't dressed well, they weren't like the people that were in power. So they started cooking up all these things. The president of Harvard in 1922 said, "The anti-Semitic feelings among the students is increasing, and it grows in proportion to the increase in number of Jews. If their numbers should become 40%, the race feelings would be intense." So basically, it's your fault they don't like you because there's too many of you. Have you heard that before? Yes. It's not your fault. If you earn your way in there, you deserve to be there. It doesn't matter how many of you are there. It is your right. You earned it. In November 19, which was less than a year ago, there was an article in a journal, the American Journal of Medical Sciences, and it said, and I'm going to read you the last sentence from the abstract. The title was, "Why did the United States medical school admissions quota end for Jews?" And the answer was, or the last sentence said, "This remarkable social change may be instructive as higher education now grapples with allegations of a quota system for Asian Americans." So even this year, the medical schools recognize that there is discrimination against Asian Americans. And let me tell you, if it feels like discrimination, it is. So why are we here? And this is my last point. We're here to talk about Prop 16. California adopted the language from the 1964 Civil Rights Act to prohibit discrimination. That language is very clear. The state cannot discriminate against or grant preferential treatment on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin. Repeat after me. R-S-C-E-N. R-S-C-E-N. Remember that. Now, if this does pass, which I hope it doesn't, I'm sure that California administrators will jump on it and go to town with it. So you need to get out there and vote and make sure it doesn't pass. Remember that the Republican Party is behind you on this, and we oppose Proposition 16. Remember, my name is Dr. Alex Glue, candidate for Senate District 16, Sunnyvale up to South San Francisco. Remember one thing, stick with Glue for Senate. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. So you know, we are here, we know we are discriminated. We should voice out. So let's say out loud after me. No on Proposition 16. No on Proposition 16. Please voice out. No on Proposition 16. No on Proposition 16. school because there's less discrimination over there. Please join us, or maybe you can put the sign in your front yard. You know, Asian American usually will have a lot of properties, right? We want our American, we achieve our American dream by getting homes. So put the yard sign in front of your home, as many as you can, to say no on Proposition 16. Donate and vote, and record those people who are cheating on vote. If you know anyone who is cheating on vote, who is trying to steal vote, record them. Save the evidence. Later on, we will sue them. So, everyone, let's welcome next guest speaker. Our next guest speaker is Christina Loswalski. She is the advisory board member of Ignite Impact Fund and the president of STAC Silicon Valley. Let's welcome Christina. Christina.
Hi, I'm going to take off my mask since I'll be 6 feet apart. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Christina Leskowski. I am the president of a nonprofit, the Science and Technology Advisory Council, Silicon Valley. We focus on helping entrepreneurs in the Philippines to level set and provide access. And I'm here today because I oppose Proposition 16. We should not have race make it mandatory for us to use our taxpayer money to have bias. Whether it's education, in the workforce, etc. I don't really approve of it. We are all Americans, and this is really divisive. This is a step back, and I'm truly opposed to it. I come from a family of single women who worked hard. My mom was a single mom. She worked 2 jobs. She did acquire real estate, but she worked hard. And growing up, we were told nothing was impossible because we were here in the United States. And even in the work that I do today in the nonprofit arena, when I go out to the Philippines and I give advice to entrepreneurs, what I tell them is I'm delivering best practices in the U.S., that we want to level set the access to resources, level set the access to opportunities, and we need to continue to do that here. And if we're going to have race entered into the mix, we're not making it equal for everyone. The way that the university system works, as I understand, is that the UC systems typically admit those in the top, I think, 15 to 17 percentile. Many of those students in high school are investing time and energy to learn, to educate themselves, and to have the opportunity to get a better education and have access without any bias. I have 2 nephews who are in the Midwest right now. They're a quarter Filipino, a quarter Caucasian, and they're half black. My black colleagues say that if you're half black, you're 100% black. They did not get into the university with a $200,000 scholarship based on race. They worked hard every single year, studying, doing extra work, working, etc. And so I would not want to see race entered as a prerequisite for you to be accepted into our schools or in any other area. So I'm not supportive at all for Proposition 16. I personally have experienced opportunity in this country without race in the mix. And so I encourage everyone to continue to, as our former speaker had said, share this with neighbors, colleagues, friends. I'm also very active with the San Mateo County Republican Party. We are going to have door hangers printed. We will have no on Proposition 16 on the door hangers. And so if any of you would like to volunteer and help in San Mateo County, we have Anna Kramer, one of our lead volunteer here, our vice chair, who you could reach out to, and we could continue to spread the message by putting the door hangers across San Mateo County and engaging with all our constituents here. So once again, I am not in support of Proposition 16, and I thank you today for having me here to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. there's a lot of friends out there to support us. Just now, I want to share a story. A lot of us, just like me, I come to United States with only 2 luggages and $2,000 debts on my back. I have nothing, 0. But after 20 years, I have my home, I have my job, I have everything that middle class desired. How could I make that? Through hard work, through go to school, through learning, through everything that we try, through spending time on my study, on my work, with my client. We make money because we try hard. We are diligent. We are working hard. Still, in Asian American community, there's still a lot of people who are really poor, who are still in entry level, who are in Chinese restaurant washing dishes, cook Chinese dishes, doing Chinese takeouts. They are poor. There's a lot of people in Chinatown who depend on social welfare. But we're still discriminated against because we are Asian American. Is that fair? No! It's not fair at all. So we wanted to invite next guest, Peter Cole, to share his opinion. Peter Cole is the California Republican Vice President, Westshire. Peter Cole, please, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Peter Cole. 大家好，我是郭宗正。今天非常高兴能来到这里。Let me put this on the microphone real quick. Second. Somebody help me with this. Okay. I've done this a million times. Okay, I think I'm in the right position here under the sun. All right, great. All right, again, my name is Peter Crow. It's great to be here today. I would like to share a story with you. Imagine, if you will, you are hiring a musician for your daughter's wedding, okay? And you're going to interview a few, say, violinists to play on the wedding. And if we have this interview and you have, say, 3 musicians, one, say, Chinese, one African American, and one white person. And the first player showed up. Again, close your eyes, if you will. Just close your eyes with me and do this exercise real quick. The first player showed up and played like this. Okay, that's player number 1. Player number 2. That's player number 2. Player number 3. Now, without looking at the person who is playing it, which one would you hire? And that proves my point. I want to make sure everybody understands what Prop 16 is. It's not a equal rights proposition at all. It is actually the opposite, the very extreme opposite. It's using your skin color to determine if you actually will get into college, get a job, or get the contract that your government is offering to everybody. So I am firmly opposed Prop 16 because it's using skin color, which is something that we have no control of, to determine your future. It is wrong for America. It is wrong for the state of California. It's wrong for anyone who lives in the world. And with that, I want to give a couple of things here. As we all know, state of California Republicans are firmly oppose Prop 16. And it is time for us, especially the Asian Americans, to, instead of register as a no party preference, where nobody cares, to register as Republican, okay, right here. It's very simple, cagop.org/register. Go to that website and change your registration right now so your voice can be heard. if you continue to be a no party preference and do nothing, and this is how we get to where we are today. We continue to, in fact, I think in the past 30 years, we are including myself, my own mistake was to vote for the last name. We need to stop doing that. We need to look at the candidates and see what their positions is. Because what happened is that all the Democrats took our votes for granted in the past 30 years, especially the Asian Democrats. David Chu, Phil Ting, and Evan Low. These three people, they go into the Sacramento, they all supported Prop 16, Rob Bonta for another one. So I really think it's time for us Asian Americans to wake up and look at the candidates like Alex Blue, who is running for state senate, to really understand what their position is. Again, vote for their ideology, vote for their policy, not their skin color. We need to start now, and it starts right here in Foster City on August 15th. Thank you very much. With that, I'd like to play a song for y'all.
Peter, can you say recall Gavin? Recall Gavin.
Also, yes, this beautiful young lady here in the red shirt is signing the petition for recalling our governor, who is coming up with crazy policy one after another. We need to absolutely sign your name right there to recall our governor, because he's not doing any favors. So with that, let's sing this song called God Bless America. I'm sure you all know this song. Here we go. Actually, this is a different song, right? So, okay, God Bless America. Here you go. And vote Republican this year, because we're tired of Democrats' policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. So we just don't say
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So we have listened to that. We understand. As a voter, we should be smart. We should not look at faces. We should not just vote for any Asian. Think about ideology. Agree to the ideology and vote to all the people that have the same ideology that you hold with. Like, I don't want to name all those bad Asian elected officials. They just betrayed us as the whole community, and they are there as the elected officials and get all the benefit. As the elected officials, get free healthcare, get the allowance, get all the money that they deserve. I mean, they steal from Chinese community, from Asian community. They just betrayed us. Please vote for all the people who have the same ideology, rather than the Asian face. Okay, next one. Let's invite speaker Elaine Lee. Is she here now?
I am here, yes.
Please, Elaine, welcome. Elaine is behavioral health clinician for San Francisco Public Health, and she's the member of Revival San Francisco. Welcome, Elaine.
Well, good morning, California. And good morning, America. I am grateful to be here this morning. 我非常感谢大家对我们加州人民的生命支持。Proposition 16 is a way of backward discrimination against those who are good, against those who really put their head into education. especially the Asian people. In America, we had about 6% Asian people across the nation. It's about 20 million Asian people. In California, we had about 16% of Asian. We, the Asian people, very productive. We thrive. We take care of our family. We respect the authorities. We respect our government. Yet, our government has been turning to lawless, especially California. 我哋嚟到美國就係想好嘅生活，仍然我哋嘅生活已經係俾一啲冇良知嘅政客，令到我哋失去我哋個動機嚟到生活。We came to America for a better life. We came to America for American dream. But now we don't have the dream. We have the nightmare. Proposition 16 is backward. They wanted to turn against Proposition 209 that was 1996. 24 years ago. Am I right? The lawless liberals. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democratic. I don't care if you're Libertarian, Independent, Nonpartisan, or Green Party. This is America. This is America, the United States, that we stand strong under the nation, and we are one nation under God. And in God we trust. This land was formed by people who are godly. 55 people. The constitutions. The people who vote the Constitution for America. They love God, they love you, they love your family, and we believe in traditional family. It doesn't really matter who you are as long as you live in America. You are protected by the United States Constitution.
Yes.
We have the right to assembly. We have the right for religion. We have the right for equality for education. 我们在美国就是有好的生活、平等的机会，不能让这些没法没天的、没有良知、现任很多人，包括我们州长、很多市长，他们都是很左的人，来危害我们孩子的将来，令到我们将来的孩子没有公平的机会来到读书。因为 proposition 就是你不合格也可以进去，你勤劳也没有用，这就是 discrimination. Stop discrimination. Stop discrimination. Stop discrimination. We the people will restore law and order for California. Gavin Newsom has to go, and we recall Gavin Newsom. Not Newsom. And I pray that God is watching us every step of the way, take back America and restore with law and order, and no Proposition 16 and no Proposition 16 across California. 願我哋嘅上帝祝福我哋每一個人，保守我哋嘅家庭，保守我哋嘅家園，唔向惡人低頭，我們不向惡人低頭。這是我們在美國擁有的權利。No on Proposition 16. Rebuild America. Put law and order. No Proposition 16. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Ellen 给了我们特别雄壮的声音，来自一个女生，来自一个华裔女生。其实我们可以做得到，华裔女生、华裔男生，所有的华裔的第二代们，请你们发出声音，站直了，自信的创造你们的明天。Okay, Asian lady like Ellen just set a very good example for our future. Let's do and follow her leadership. Let's vote. Let's do what we can do against Proposition 16. Next, I would like to invite Rudy Assertion. Thank you, Rudy. He is regional chair of National Federation of Filipino American Association. Welcome, Rudy.
Let's see your face, Rudy.
You can take off your mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rudy, make a big noise.
Good morning. My name is Rudy Assertion. I'm also a delegate, an elected delegate to the California Republican Party, and I'm a board member of the San Francisco Republican Party. But I'm here today to speak on No on 16. In 1966, I supported Proposition 209, and I'm here today to oppose No on 16 because, quite frankly, I cannot look a 6-year-old Filipino child in the eyes and say, I'm sorry, but you need affirmative action to get ahead in this world. And I just don't have, I cannot look at the child's eyes and say that. And so I strongly oppose Proposition No on 16. If I may, I'd like to relate to you a little story of my after I supported the Proposition 209. In 2005, the Philippine News, which is a Filipino-based print media in San Francisco, published in the front page that Filipino American students has the highest dropout rate in San Francisco Unified School District. And that puzzled me because Filipinos are always interested in education. So when I became an executive director of a nonprofit in 2006, I went to different parents and I told them, look, I am going to babysit your kids, just send them to my center, and from 2 o'clock to 6 p.m., I will take care of them, and you can pick them up after work. And of course, they really like that because it's for free, and I have babysitters that will take care of their kids. But unbeknown to them, I recruited 3 students, very, very bright students from University of San Francisco, and I hired them to tutor these kids. So I have 45 kids that are my captive. They don't go anywhere. They're just basically in the center. And so I told my tutors, look, all I want you to do is focus on math and English. Math and English. So for 8 years, 45 kids were tutored math and English and math and English. And I gave these kids incentives. I went to San Francisco Giants and I went to San Francisco Warriors and I got tickets. And those kids who are excelling in academics and getting 4.0, I gave them tickets to the Giants game. I gave tickets to the Warriors game. Unfortunately, the 49ers never gave me anything. I don't know why, but that's another story. But the kids, even though the seats they're getting are way up there where eagles nest, it's a bragging right for them to be able to tell their friends, look, I went to a Giants game and I saw San Francisco or one of the pitcher or one of the, especially when Tim Lincecum was pitching, and that was a bragging right for them. So a lot of students excel. They were getting 4.0s and they were giving me 4.0s. And I told the whole academic class, if your grade point average only increased by 1 percentage point, I will take all of you to Great America. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, for 8 years, I took those kids to the Great America for 1 day, and they all enjoyed it. But I'm saying this because I fully believe that it is academic excellence that gets you out of poverty. It's not affirmative action. Affirmative action, what it does only is get the not really eligible students to get in, and those who are really eligible and who are really bright are not getting in. They're getting rejected. So I really oppose, I really want to encourage everybody to support no on Proposition 16 and make sure that this thing does not get passed, make sure that our students are able to compete, and make sure that our students excel without any kind of handouts or any kind of help from the state on their own activities, on their own volition, so that they can grow and develop to be productive citizens of California. Thank you very much.
I will get a press release for that. Okay?
I'm a member of the press club.
Sure. Thank you. From Rudy, everybody can know that to learn, get knowledge, is just having party. You cannot get knowledge by having party. You cannot get knowledge by hanging in the street. You cannot get knowledge by drinking a lot, by using marijuana. You cannot really get knowledge, not open the book, just play around. It's a hard work. All Asian kids spending many years of open their books, sitting in front of their desk, and curb their desire to play. Through this hard work, they earn their credit into the college. So that before UC system has a lot of Asian kids. Why? Because they work hard. It's not a welfare to deliver a diploma or deliver an admission to any race because of they're having the right color of skin. It's totally wrong. So next, let's welcome Paul Taylor, who is the advisor for Melting Pot Patriots, who will tell you more story about that. Let's welcome Paul.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here today. I'm Paul Taylor. I ran in 2018 against the Wicked Witch of the West. Who's that? Dianne Feinstein, right? She's now your U.S. Senator, and she is working with the CCP. You know that. She had a driver for 20 years, right? But I'm not here to talk about her. I'm here to talk about you guys because I'm standing up for you now. I will run against Kamala Harris in 2022 to get her out, right? We'll do that. We're going to do that. But today we're talking about this right here, Proposition 16. I'm against Proposition 16. You know why? It is taking away what you guys have. And so I want to ask you a question. I'm going to tell you what the real root of this whole thing is about, so you can know about what it really means. It has nothing to do with race, okay? Nothing. They used that again. So how many people here, raise your hands, are traditional family values people? You have traditional family values. You believe in a man and a wife, right? You're against abortion. You're for a free enterprise. You're for the American dream, like Ellen Zhao said, right? Not the American nightmare, right? You're for that. You're for opportunity, right? Are you for opportunity? Yeah, you are. I am too. I experienced that myself, although I was born in America, but I became a businessman, retired now. I created over 300,000 jobs in America, over 1,000 small companies. I'm as close to Donald Trump as you'll see in California. Okay, I'm a businessman, and I understand business. I will be working with the administration once he wins it on November 3rd in the immigration department, the reforming of the immigration reform projects. I will be working on the build in America, made in America again, and bring companies back to here so there's jobs, okay, for good citizens here in America. But I want to talk to you about Prop 16 because I said earlier, it's not about race. It is the sister, the brother, the twin, whatever you want to call it, to the Black Lives Matter, BLM movement. Now, I want to challenge you all to go on your line when you go home today, or when you get a chance, go to the website, blm.org, and hit the About button. They clearly and openly state their purpose. It's not about blacks. I have a gal that works with me who's black. She's a Christian. Her son was murdered in Oakland 3 years ago by another black man, and she is standing up against the BLM. Why? Because it's not about that. in their About Me part of their website, it says that their goal is to undermine the black family, no black man in the home, and to encourage black transgender relationships. Oh, funny, this is LGBT, another form, right? Through what? Using what? Black people. It's not about that. And this is not about getting black people into college or giving them job opportunities. It has nothing to do with that. All has to do with LGBT. I have currently a political investigation organization, and we investigate these things. So I can come out and speak openly to you about these things. And this is the truth. So go look for yourself about me on the Black Lives Matter website. You'll find out. They're using it once again. Why? Because they're going against something you raised your hands for, traditional family values. We get rid of traditional family values, you know what comes next? Your Constitution. I'm not going to let that happen, because just as the first speaker was talking about being Jewish, 30 of my family burned in the furnaces of Auschwitz. They experienced Marxism back during World War II. 30 of my uncles and aunts and cousins were taken from their homes. Their guns were taken away. They couldn't defend themselves. Like in China, Vietnam, you can't defend yourself because you can't own a gun, right? But in America, you can. You know why the Japanese never attacked the mainland? Because they say behind every blade of grass is a rifle. We have to do that. You know why? Because our founding fathers put the Second Amendment right behind your First Amendment, which is freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, and freedom to complain and file a grievance when they try to take those away from you. Every one of these things is a movement to take away your rights. And so here's what you need to do. If you stand up, every time you stand up, you know what happens? They sit down. Okay, you got that? You understand that? Stand up. You know what? They are weak. They're chickens. You know what? Black Lives Matter. A friend of mine was up in Placerville, was attacked by three Antifa people, and he got out of his car and he pulled out a big knife. And you know what happened? They ran away. They are not brave. Who do they pick on? In San Francisco, they pick on the poor Chinese people. They're in their 70s and 80s walking across the street, and they knock them down. Right? I've seen it. One last thing. Ellen Zhao, very humble woman. Last year, I helped her with her campaign. She ran against an evil woman named London Breed in San Francisco. This woman is the first. She created history. You know why? The last Republican mayor in San Francisco was in 1955. That's before any of you were born, I'm sure. I was born in 1952, so I was born before it. But she did it. She came in second place. And the only reason why she lost, they had to cheat her. She had a resume strong enough to do the job. She had a campaign that did well. She put up a billboard that they took down because she was voicing her right to free speech. And they didn't like it. And they don't like the Chinese. 35% of the population of San Francisco are Asian. Where's their power? They need to stand up so they'll sit down. Right? So London Breed will sit down, and the people in City Hall will sit down, and the CCP will sit down because they're standing up. I am there to help that happen. Currently, I'm working on many projects right now that has to do with that and corruption and things you're hearing about with in San Francisco about the guy that's in the Public Works Department, other things. They're getting busted. We're nailing them. We're working on your behalf so you have freedom, so that people can stand up. We just celebrated the 150th anniversary of the Chinese finishing the Continental Railroad in America. I stand up for that. You know why? Because they're amazing people. We love it. So we thank you all. I'm grateful to be here today. Vote no on Prop 16, okay? Anyone can come speak to me after. I've got Melting Pot Patriots, a new organization that represents you. I'd be glad to talk to anybody about that. It is your organization to get you guys to come together. E pluribus unum, out of many come one, be American citizens and patriots, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. So, last but not least, we will welcome Raymond to speak. He is the next stop's host. And also before that, let's everybody stay here. We will take a group picture and show the world that we are together.
Thank you so much, everyone, to come on Saturday morning. This proposition boils down to this. Does the government or the university has the right to discriminate against you because of your sex, your national origin, or your color? And the answer is a resounding no, because Martin Luther King Jr. would be rolling from his grave to see this travesty, this unjust, unfair, flawed, unconstitutional proposition. The minorities have made so much progress the last few decades. Why suddenly some people want to change? Huh? Well, we must not reward one group by punishing another. You want to increase enrollment? Martin Luther King Jr. today would say, let us judge you by the content of your character, such as your work ethics. Isn't that right? Let's assume that Proposition 16 passed. Let's apply it to the NBA, huh? Well, let me ask you, sir, is that how many Chinese do you have in NBA? I guess I know the answer. I've got a Chinese guy here who is really smart, and he all his life dreamed to be in the NBA. And he can jump. Now, the only thing is that he's 5'5". I can't guarantee. Well, what do you mean you cannot guarantee? We have Proposition 16 on the book right now. That means, well, racial quota. Where are your Chinese? Where are you hiding them? Are you going to discriminate against this guy just because he's, a little short? I told you he can jump. Well, that ain't going to cut out with it. So you see, is that what is good for the goose is good for the gander, right? And there are a lot of people today, what they want is special right. And we today, all we ask is to play on the level playing field and to have equal rights. That's all we ask. We should express outrage today by honking today to express our outrage. We stand to be the people here to lose the most. We have the most to lose if Proposition 16 is passed, and you know it, and I know it. Finally, are we going to sit idly by while they take away your kids' future? No. Absolutely no. Today, I want to invite you, as Jenny asked me, to encourage you. Next Saturday, many of the volunteers will join the San Francisco campaign. I'm the person who's doing that, along with Echo and Selena. Please come help us on 19th Avenue, where thousands of cars go back and forth, and with people holding signs along both sides of the streets there. We need to make a loud voice in San Francisco that there's still a lot of people who believe in fairness, who believe in equal rights, and who believe no discrimination to any race. Thank you so much for your time.
它回转是
不一直开下去。
跟上。
走了，可以走了，走吧。
Wow, what you got, Richard? Peter, I mean. What you got, Peter? Wow, we. Thank you, guys.